Hey guys. It is sunny, as you can tell. But it did also snow last night. So happy holidays. Happy Valentine's of Days. It's Valentine's Day. It is the official day of love. Reminder that if you are in a relationship, ruining my spotlight. If you're in a relationship, treat your partner always. Don't just do it for one day a year or two if you count birthdays. Like, always be a little special and nice to your partner because it just makes things so much easier. And if you're single, live it the fuck up. Oh my god, celebrate yourself literally every day. Live your best life. And if you're in a relationship, celebrate yourself every day and live your best life. It goes always. Anyway, hello. This is going to be the start of my romance reading vlog. Oh my god, she's reading romance. I do have a TBR. Most of them are Black authors because of Blackathon and Black History Month here in America. So I do have a good chunk of them being Black authors, which is great. Especially because they're females. So that is majority, but it will not be all of them just because this is also like a romance video. So it's kind of like a mix of both. Like I'm celebrating Blackathon whilst also just like reading romance because there are quite a few that I'm interested in. There are so few that I think I'll actually be able to get to, but we're going to try our best. We're going to do our darndest. And hopefully by the end of this, we will have some sort of clue of what kind of romance I like. Because I am not a romance reader. No, not I. I read fantasy romance, but I don't traditionally read contemporary romance, especially. Why? Half of it is cringe. Half of it is not my type, not for me. I've definitely read some romances that I've enjoyed. Like, I read The Love Hypothesis, and although I don't say, like, that's a good book, I had fun with it because I was raised on One Direction fanfic romance stories as a young teen, and so I have read it. I've been there, and maybe that's why, like, I don't read romance anymore. I definitely read more of it in middle school and high school, and now that I'm a bit older, I focus more on, like, horror, thriller, and fantasy that I didn't read when I was younger. So instead I read step-sibling romances. That was a red flag. Somebody should have said something to me about that when I was, like, 15, but whatever. We know now. That's what matters. So, here's, like, my hopefuls. Here's, like, the ones that I really want to get to. I don't think I'm going to get to them all. We'll do our best. Any romance that I do not read for this video, especially Black authors that I don't read this month that I'm hoping to get to, I will read this year. Like, that is my bare minimum to myself, is any Black author that went on my Blackathon TBR will be read this year. Even though there's other Black authors that I want to pick up different periods of the year for different reasons. These are the ones that I was like, I would like to get to them now. So, if I don't get to them, I will. But romance that I have that are non-Black authors. I've got Anatomy, a love story by, I can't read that script. Dana Schwartz, I think. I don't know. Don't know what that's about. Melody read it. She enjoyed it. The sequel comes out this year, so I feel good picking it up. It has been on my TBR since it came out last year. It was like really on my radar last year. I think it was released last year, if not the year before. But it was like tip top. I want to read that. And then I believe the last romance that I want to read is No Filter and Other Lies by an author. I know, wild. Anyway, I'm reading No Filters and Other Lies through my library because it was recommended to me. Wow. This is the author of Fat Chance, Charlie Bega. I don't know. I also haven't read it. This is written by Crystal Maldonado. This is catfishing young adult LGBTQ romance. I don't know what the LGBTQ is exactly, but there is some sort of queer representation. That's the word I'm looking for. And I believe that this author is, I believe she's Latina American. I'm not 1,000% sure, but yeah, so that's on the list because it's on the 12 friends recommend 12 books list that I have to accomplish this year, and so we're checking off this one because it's Valentine's. I'm doing so good. Okay, next one's Black authors. Let's go. I've got Fake It Till You Bake It. This is the Blackathon romance team's buddy read, so I'm hoping to read that. That Time I Got Drunk and Saved a Demon because it's short and it's fantasy and it sounds hilarious and like the best time I could ever ask for. Opposite of Always. This is like a sci-fi romance. That's kind of all I know. I think it's like a Groundhog's Day kind of vibe, I think. And then I have Get a Life, Chloe Brown by Talia Hibbert. This is on my actual February TBR because of this video. And I have By the Book by Jasmine I cannot pronounce or read. Guillory. I'm so sorry. I'll get better. So yes, I have By the Book, which is a romance. It's technically a sequel. I don't think I need to read the first one to understand the companion, but so that's the very quick rundown of the TBR. Those are the things that I'm hoping to get to. That's a long-winded way of telling you my TBR, and I'm so sorry, but I hope you stay tuned. I hope that you stick around to hear my reviews of some of these hopefully amazing books. Fingers crossed, non-romance reader reads contemporary romance primarily. Hoping for the best, expecting greatness. Tell yourself it's gonna be good and you're gonna have a good time, boys. Chat about the book that I read. Technically, the 4 books that I read. This vlog's taken a turn. It's taken me a little bit longer to finish these books than I was originally planning, so I'm going to be shortening the TBR because mental health. That's what you need to do for yourself sometimes. So, I haven't decided which books quite yet I'm gonna cut. But because I read 3 books that weren't originally like planned for the video, I'm gonna math. I'm gonna read 3 less from the TBR. They were short, sure, but like they were what I needed to read. And I'm just not like in a giant contemporary romance like mood. I really want to be reading fantasy right now. So for that reason and my pure enjoyment of reading, I'm not going to read all of the books, which I am sorry. I will read them at some point, just not for this video. But what I have read is the Mead Mishaps series by Kimberly Lemming. Oh my god, these are so much fun. The first one is That Time I Got Drunk and Saved a Demon. The next one is That Time I Got Drunk and Yeeted a Love Potion at a Werewolf. The like 1.5 is a shorter story, which was my personal favorite, which was Mistletoe. Followed completely separate characters. It was so much fun though. It's kind of like the Christmas special. And then the Bump in Bombhale, I don't remember what it is, but it was a 4-star, a 5-star, a 4-star, and a 3 or 4 star. The like actual like final book so far is like the 2.5, I think, and it is following the first 2 books characters because they are friends, so they're companion novels really, and so it follows them in that shorter book, whereas Mistletoes is like almost completely disconnected. One character does make an appearance and one character is like mentioned in the second book, but they were so much fun. These are fantasy romance books, heavy on the steam. Oh boy howdy, I was not prepared for that. And I was listening to them actively at my job. So when steam was happening, I was just sitting there like, I was listening to the audiobooks at work, and like the first sex scene happened, and it went in a lot more detail than I was really expecting it to go into, which is fine and dandy. I know, like, not here to kink shame, like, listen to what you want to listen to, read what you want to read, but I've never listened to steam besides one other book, and it always has like the same reaction when I first hear it, and then I get used to it and I'm like, okay, it's fine now. But it's always like that initial like, oh no, what's happening, that like causes that anxiety. But some of the language was a little more explicit than I listen to when it comes to steam and smut. Some of the words just like actively make me uncomfortable, but you know, you press on, you keep going. I really enjoyed the plot lines of these and the characters. The humor was top notch. I enjoyed these so much because there was so much humor. Kimberly Lemmings, the author, wrote these because she wanted, from my understanding at least, she wanted to have books with representation that has happiness, and it's not just like sad trauma. There's mixed relationships, there's black characters of different sizes. It's such a good time. I really enjoyed reading these. I actually got Kindle Unlimited just so that I could read the Mistletoe and the Bump in Bumhail books, which makes me so excited. I do plan on buying the paperbacks because I would actually really much enjoy to have these on my shelves. I see myself reading these again. The third book it's been announced. I think it's titled The Time I Drugged a Dragon, I think. Oh, I'm so excited. It's so fun. So I'm really excited. I'm really happy about that. I'm gonna keep saying that. Oh my god. They were great. I highly recommend if you are into fantasy, if you're into romance, if you enjoy steam, check these out. They're a lot of fun. The first book has like the most plot. The second book is a little bit like plot secondary and it focuses more on the characters. Mistletoe is my all-time favorite. I adore it so much. I love the humor. I love the scenes. All of the scenes. I love the romance. It was just so good. Okay, so yeah, those were that. Let me look at the TBR and we can kind of discuss a little bit. So I need to read Get a Life, Chloe Brown, because that's actually on my February TBR, so that one I will be listening to. The rest of them, yeah, this is tricky because all of these books were on my TBR for a reason, and trying to cut back is difficult because they're there for a reason, and so it just keeps delaying this video as I needed a break from reading, to be entirely honest. I took a weekend off from reading because I was reading so much during the week that I was just feeling a little overwhelmed, and so I stopped, paused, and now I'm like in the mood to read again, so I think that was what I needed to do for myself. The only one I think I'm going to be able to get rid of is Anatomy, which is fine. I actually started that one. It's a historical romance, and I've heard good things. I do want to read it, just like not right now. I think I have a little bit of PTSD from historical fiction, and I just like need a longer break from it. The other one that I think I'm going to put off for right now is going to be The Opposite of Always, which is so funny because that one I have the most intrigue for because it's like a sci-fi romance, but I don't have like a deep reason for reading it like I do with the other ones. So I'm gonna put it on the back burner. If I get to it, great. If not, fine. So I think that's kind of where we're at. I'm gonna try and take it a little bit easy because I have one other video project going on and then my other TBR that I have to complete in order to not suffer in March. So that's what the TBR is looking at like right now. I go back to work tomorrow, so I'll probably pick up 1 or 2 of these, and then we can kind of discuss further then. Hello, I'm checking in. I started reading Talia Hibbert's Get a Life, Chloe Brown. I'm almost 40% through, which is insane. That's like really fast. I'm impressed. It's on 2 times speed, it's about a little over 5 hours, I think. So, making my progress. It's going good. This entire book revolves around Chloe, who is the oldest of the Brown sisters, I believe, and she has a near-death experience where she stands in front of a car, and then instead of the car hitting her, because she didn't move out of the way, the car drives into a literal coffee shop, which I feel like that ties into a later plot, but I don't know. So yeah, she has this near-death experience, and she's like, oh boy, wow, that was a close one. And then she makes a bucket list, and so she's trying to get a life and do new things that she didn't previously do in her life, because she realizes she could die at any time. I do get that a lot. I have that like fear and anxiety often of like, I'm not living my life to the fullest, I'm wasting the potential, yada yada yada. So I totally get like that perspective, and I think it's fun the way that Chloe is going about doing these things. And then we have Red's perspective, I think that's his name, her landlord of this apartment complex, who we do get his perspectives, which I do think is like interesting, but it's kind of like an enemies to lovers, because they're not really friends, they don't really like each other, but he sees her save a cat in a tree, and he's like, you need help? And she's like, yeah, I think I might be stuck, because she has chronic illness. And so she starts feeling pain, and he helps, and then they become friends, and then they work out this agreement that she's going to build him a website because he's an artist, and in return he's going to help her check off things off her bucket list, because yeah. So that's like the plot. It's fun. I'm at the point where they're like actively becoming friends. So Chloe has like emailed part like a revised list, because some of the things on the list she's like, no, he can't know about those, not yet. So they're like working their terms of agreement. So they're working on the website and planning like a camping trip and like going out dancing and drinking. So it's very fun, very lighthearted. They don't like each other for what seems to be no reason, except for like they just don't enjoy each other's company, and then like very quickly they're like, wow, I'm obsessed with you and I'm in love with you, but I'm not gonna say it, he. So it's fine. it's wholesome, it's sweet, you're like, yeah, romance, but it's not like making me jump for joy. I do really enjoy like the diverse representation of a relationship. Chloe Brown has chronic illness or chronic pain, and so you get to see that side, and then you got this love interest that like cares and is like, I want to know how I can help you. I see that you were in pain, and I like that perspective. I like the diverseness in a romance, so it's not so like cookie cutter, cut and dry, copy paste like all the other romances. Especially for someone that like, I don't like contemporary romance all that much. I have to be in the mood for it, which I have not been, hence why this video is so late. But yeah, that's the gist. I will update you guys when I finish it and let you know what my final rating is. At this current point, 40% in, I would say that I'm going to finish it and I will continue with the series, but we'll see if that changes in the next 60%. I'm 60% through Get a Life, Chloe Brown. It's going good. They're like having their first tiff, I think. They're not really not friends, but they're not really friends, you know? They're like in this like weird little like, will they, won't they? Although they have had their first sexual encounter together, which as I'm learning about myself, I sat through Karina Holly. I sat through Karina's Black Sunshine in a singular night listening to the audiobook. There is some spice. That shit's, whew, that's spicy. That's probably the steamiest book I've ever read thus far. And it was a lot. I won't lie. It was a lot. But I enjoyed it. I liked the plot. I liked the characters. I liked the mood. I enjoyed it. I'm sure that this will also get very steamy. And the Mead mishaps were also steamy. The romance reading vlog, Sam, of course they're going to be steamy. Like, duh. But I feel like I'm not supposed to be there. Does that make sense? Like, I feel like a fly on the wall, and I'm not, like, somebody should squish me. I'm not supposed to see this. I'm not supposed to be there. I don't need to, like, I'm not feeling any type of way. I don't know if I'm supposed to feel a type of way, but, like, I'm just, like, I'm also learning that when it comes to sex scenes, I don't like any term that starts with the letter C. I don't want to fucking hear it. I don't want to hear it. I'm so sorry. I don't like it. I don't like it. I learned that with the Mead mishaps, like, especially, I was like, every time one of those words would be said, I was like, I'm not having fun. I don't like it. But once I kind of got used to it, I was like, okay, whatever, here for the vibes, here for the adventure. But, like, the Mead mishaps, fun, fantasy, demon men, like, different. Get a Life, Chloe Brown. Two, like, fictional but incredibly realistic people. Like, they exist. I know too much. I'm not going to talk to my best friend about that, like, in that kind of detail or anything. So, like, I don't want to know distance. It's a little weird. I'm not going to lie. But that's what's going on with me. Those are my reading updates. I am hoping to finish Get a Life, Chloe Brown tonight or tomorrow morning, preferably before work. I will check in with you guys tomorrow, maybe. I go back to work, so, you know, she's gonna suffer a little bit at her 10-hour shift. It's fine. It's fine. I'm fine. It's fine. I'm going. Bye. Hi. I was playing music whilst I started my makeup, and the music was too good that I didn't want to stop it to talk with you guys. So, here we are. Mid-song, even. But hello, I'm checking in because I finished Get a Life, Chloe Brown, and started the next book, and have, completely abandoned you guys. So, let's chat. My feelings for Get a Life, Chloe Brown really didn't change. I like the couple, I like them together, I like their dynamic. The third act conflict was fine. I can understand, I guess. It didn't, like, bother me or annoy me beyond a doubt or whatever, but yeah, it was fine. I like their dates and, like, the relationship that they had with each other. It just wasn't, like, going to be a knock me off my socks kind of romance. I didn't go into it thinking it'd be an all-time favorite. I really did enjoy the diversity in the characters and getting to know them. I like that each character really felt like their own person. But beyond that, that's kind of as far as my feelings go. This has some spice scenes, which they weren't for me personally, but that's just a me thing. I'm sure people that really enjoy listening to steamy scenes or reading steamy scenes would feel different. So that's always, like, a weird thing to, like, rate, because I just don't. But yeah, the next book that I technically have finished, I'll be honest, was No Filter and Other Lies by Crystal Maldonado. I listened to the audiobook, which was very good. I do recommend. And this is a story about our main character, who is Puerto Rican American. She is a bigger girl. She's fat and isn't very confident, and because of who she is, she doesn't get a lot of likes on her really good photography photos on Instagram just because of like who she is. So through some events, she ends up taking her friend's identity, who is not on social media, and uploading photos to Instagram after knowing that her friend like has reason to not be on social media. Catfishes a girl, gets like all of these likes. She works at a dog rescue, which I thought was really fun. Overall, like this is a young adult. She's in high school. She has her group of friends. This is contemporary. This was 100% a contemporary story for young girls, which I do recommend. It's a good story. Obviously, like as an adult who grew up with social media, a lot of the things didn't really apply to me because it's not situations that I've necessarily been in or anything, but it's good to feel like you get perspective of kids and whatever. I think that if you were younger and didn't live like growing up as social media became what it is now, I think that this is important for young girls to like learn lessons on confidence and the internet and so on. I did enjoy it. There is a small romance. It is a queer romance. Our main character is bisexual, which I did really enjoy having that representation. She has a complicated relationship with her best friend. I really liked the dynamics with each individual character. I wouldn't say that this was knock me off my socks or anything, but I did end up rating it 4 stars. It was an enjoyable time. Thought it was fun. It's just not for me. I will read young adult fantasy all day, every day. It is one of my favorite genres. Young adult contemporary, young adult romance, I'm not really interested in. Probably because, like, I'm not gonna date a high schooler. That's just you. So it's not really something that I'm gonna, like, focus on. She is catfishing a college student who's a little bit older. So that was better, but it's just one of those things, like, it's not a story for me, so reading it through the lens of like, yeah, if I was in middle school or high school, early high school, I probably would have enjoyed this, even though she is, I will disclaimer, she's a senior or maybe a junior. She does party a lot. Alcohol is consumed often. There's mentions of like smoking, so that needs to be known. If like some people get a little weird about that. I definitely had my party phase in high school, so I can't really speak on like the other side of the coin. Like I did party, I did drink alcohol in high school. I was very safe about it, but it is something that does happen. So if you don't like underage drinking, that is a content in this book. But overall, I did enjoy it. I thought it was fun. And now for the last book for the video. I was about to say for the last video, and I was like, that's incorrect. For the last book for this video is going to be by the book by Jasmine Jasmine Guillory. Come on down. So this is the second book in the Meant to Be series. When I started this and it started hitting me in the face with references, I was like, why? Now that I'm more aware, I do now know that this is a part of a Disney retelling series. So at first I thought all of them were going to be by the same author. It's by a bunch of different authors, a part of a series. I think there's only 2 out right now. This book's synopsis starts with a tale as old as time for a new generation. So you can probably gather it's a Beauty and the Beast kind of retelling. But in like a nice romantic way that doesn't make you question everyone's sanity. It's fun so far. I've been enjoying it. The references, now that I understand it's for like a Disney thing, I'm like, okay, cute. I have a friend, Portia, who really enjoys Beauty and the Beast, and so the second I figured that out, I was like, she needs to read this, and she has a copy, so I'm recommending it to her already. But in this, we are following our main character, Isabel, who is working in the publishing industry, which I've learned that is a plus for me in books, especially romance or contemporary or even thrillers, honestly. I really enjoy I'm a writer, I'm in publishing, I'm an editor. Isabel specifically is an editor, but she's trying to get promoted to like a actual editor. I think she's an editor's assistant. And so she's like hoping to get this big promotion, even though her coworker is kind of an ass and is like, probably not this year, probably never. So they're at a party in Los Angeles for work, and they've been on this celebrity's case about his memoir for quite some time. They're getting ready to give up on him because it's just not happening. And since they're in the area, they're in the same state, she decides to volunteer to go herself alone to this man's California beach house mansion and force him to write a memoir about his life. And so through that, she shows up at his door. The assistant is like, no can do, sorry, he can't see you, he doesn't want to see you, he's kind of a complete beast, just like total ass. And my goodness, words. The assistant accidentally sprains her ankle or twists her ankle going to check the mail with her and like walking her to her car. And so they go back inside together with the assistance of Isabel, and they meet, what's his nut? Beau Towers, that's what it is. Beau Towers, celebrity. And he and Izzy just like instantly like get in this like, I'm a better man kind of like scream match, just like, I'll give you pep talks until you write your book. And he's like, okay, bet, stay at my place. And then she ends up staying there for a month. And then, is it a month? Is it 2? Yeah, I think she's planning to stay for a month. And then they start just like editing every day. And now like a friendship is developing. And you're like, okay, a little weird, I won't lie. I'm not super incredibly realistic, but it's a fun time. I'm enjoying like the characters and getting to know them. This is a Black romance by a Black author, which I do love. Seeing as it's supposed to be February still, so it's supposed to be a part of my Blackathon. But it's late. Whoops. So yes, that is what I've been reading, and I'm going to finish that today. Get this video edited because we're gonna be done after this book. So yeah. That's the update. I will check in when I finish the book, and then we can close out this video. It's later. I've filmed a TBR video that's going up Sunday, and I finished a book. So let's talk about By the Book. It's so cute. This is so cute. It had me like, you know? I really enjoyed these characters. I really enjoyed like their romance and getting to know each other and just like the sparks flying, you know? They got me feeling things. This one's not a steamy book, which I think I prefer adult, non-steamy contemporary romance. I think if I'm gonna listen to steam, it's gotta be a fantasy and there's gotta be like a plot going on. And like the steamy scenes are your escape from like war or whatever. I think just like makes more sense in my brain. I don't really want to be there for like intimate scenes with characters that I don't feel like I should be there for, because like I'm just like a girl. No, it's like I'm not. It took me a second to get into this because of the writing style, and that's not because I didn't like it, it's because I really loved it. You're so in Izzy's head, but yet it's in third person, so you're able to pick up on things that maybe the character doesn't necessarily pick up on every time. But because I've been reading so many like first person books for this video especially, it took me a second to like really get into it. But once I was in it, I was so in it. It was so easy to binge. It was so easy to read. It's so good. It was so good. I really enjoyed the outcome. I really loved the third act conflict. It wasn't like a miscommunication. It was simply just like I have to go. I don't know what to do. And it was very good. I really enjoyed everything about it. I have very little complaints. It's only going to be a 4-star. I just don't foresee myself giving romance books 5 stars that often. I did give The Love Hypothesis 5 stars last year, but I think it was just like more the experience of it, because I wouldn't say it's like a good book or like a perfect book, but I had such fun physically reading it, and like I can remember that day very clearly. So I think that's part of the reasons why it was rated so high, but this is like a solid good 4 stars, and I really enjoyed it. I do recommend it. It's a lot of fun. Their Wi-Fi password is Lumiere, and I thought that was so funny. So yes, that is by the book. I read romance. It took me a really long time. I'm not a romance girly. I truly am not. I am not. It's not for me most of the time. And back to back is definitely not for me. I like balancing romance in between different TBRs and between different kinds of reads. I lean towards horror, thriller, and fantasy. Those are my genres. Those are my comfort places. Fantasy romance, wonderful. Horror romance, wonderful. Contemporary romance, it's a little boring. Like, I'm already living a contemporary romance life. Like, I have a partner. We do cute partner things. Like, I'm living it. I don't necessarily need to read it. I don't need to, like, change romance expectations to fit it. But anywho, yes, I wish that I was a publisher and an editor, and I wish that I didn't have the job I had, but at the same time, I don't want to do that. So at the end of the day, I read some books. Do I remember all of the books right now? No. I think it was the Mead Mishaps series, Get a Life, Chloe Brown, No Filter and Other Lies, and By the Book. Was that it? I think that was it. That could be wrong. I don't know. Either way, we read some romance. I learned some things, not a lot of things. I think there's still a lot of romance out there to be read. Again, I'm going to have a whole reading blog for my first dark romance, because oh boy howdy. So who knows where that might take us. But at the end of the day, it was fun to read these. I'm going to take a pretty big break from contemporary romance. Besides that one. Besides her. Wish me luck. Thanks for watching. Thanks for hanging out with me. Sorry that this was not the Valentine's Day video special I thought it was going to be, but I hope you enjoyed nonetheless. I will see you guys soon in my next video. It's going to be a TBR video on Sunday, so I hope you guys enjoy, and I'll see you later. Bye!